Hi there, my lovely friends. Just a little shorter one today. I had a couple of requests from some of you viewers. Thank you very much. Asking me about uploading to another platform. Now, the only other platform that I use is Draft2Digital. And as I put up a new release on pre order on Amazon yesterday, yes, this is something I do just about every month, but I thought I'd take you through the step by step process of uploading my books to Draft2Digital. So let me get this organized. I still haven't found an effortless way of doing this yet. But anyway, let me bring up my screen. If I go, where do I have to go? I need to go there. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, this is my screen. This is my Draft2Digital account. Now, why I use Draft2Digital is because, well, originally I used to use Smashwords, but Smashwords were merged with Draft2Digital, forcing me to use a new platform. I always find that a little bit problematic, but this one is actually remarkably easy. But before I start, I just wanted to quickly show you the format of the book. Which one is it? As you can see, I have numerous, I've got a lot of writing I need to be doing. But this is the book I'm putting up, Pointy Ears and Purple Glitter. And I just wanted to quickly show you the format of this file before we get to the upload process. Now, as you can see, I have done nothing. Okay, this is bold and it's obviously a headline, my chapter heading, chapter 1, and my font is Verdana 14. The whole book is in Verdana 14, and I prefer to use Justified. I just think it looks better. I prefer it. I find when I use tabs, then you know how they've got the ones with the indent at the first paragraph and everything else like that. My brain doesn't like that. So I have Justified. And this is what my file is. This is the way it looks. And this is what I'm going to upload. And I wanted to show you this because as we go through, you'll be able to see some rather interesting formatting options that Draft2Digital has. Now, Draft2Digital is completely free to sign up for, just like KDP. So if we go into add a new book, and I only use the ebooks for Draft2Digital, I do have my front cover art. They recommend that it is 1600 by 2400 pixels or larger, and they want that in JPEG or PNG. So I will pull that up, and that's my one. And we'll grab that there and let that do its thing. Actually, we can probably be moving on while it's doing this. Now, how big is this? I'm wondering if I need to make my page just a teeny bit bigger to make it easier for you to see. Hopefully that'll make things a little easier. Okay, so my title is Pointy Ears and Purple Glitter. And it is a Quirk of Fate books, but I'm not sure if that's not in here, so I need to add a new series. Quirk of Fates. When the books were migrated from Smashwords across to Draft2Digital, they didn't. Obviously, there's some of the stuff that just didn't get included, but that's fine. So Quirk of Fates, and it is book 5. And I am the publisher, Lisa Oliver, prioritized author names, which is me. And then if I click on here, I should be able to, there we go. It's a paranormal romance, it's Fated Mates, it's a paranormal romance, it's Fated Mates, gay, gay small town, blah, 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 all that. I really don't pay as much attention to my search terms as I should. and I will probably be looking more into that later in the year, because I have seen, and I've had a couple of people ask me about it as well. I have heard a lot about Publisher Rocket, but I haven't used it, and I don't know how effective that is for fiction. So if anybody has got any positive experiences about that, then please let me know below. But anyway, my content does my book does contain content that is inappropriate for minors. And then we have to do BISACs, which is fiction, LGBTQ, gay is one of them. And then we go down to romance. As you can see, they have a multitude of oh, which one's this? Now, this is a bit iffy because I have a Fae and a Shifter. So I think we'll do Shifters, and I think we'll do General. There's two different ones I can have there, and that will do. Now, the only thing I always have to double check and remember, because I want this book to go on pre-order, but it can't be on this page. I'm still getting familiar with this process, I will admit. So, okay, we are starting our ebook. Now, they want us to upload the final manuscript, which is the one that I showed you, the final version. There we go. I have final versions, I have full versions, I have print versions. That just depends on where the book was in the editing process. And when I get to final version, that is the version that I used to upload. It's just, I sort of, over the time, you get your own draft titling process, that works for you. And this is one that works for me. Now, this is where we can set the ebook release date. And this is what I was looking for, because I want this to go on pre-order. And so I don't want this to go out until the 24th. Now, I do this myself because this is what I prefer. My book on Amazon, the same book on Amazon, will go out on the 20th. But I prefer that my book go out on Amazon first. My royalty rate is higher. Most of my readers use Amazon. However, I have noticed there has been an increase in this last year in particular of people using Kobo. And this does distribute, Draft to Digital does distribute to Kobo. But anyway, so we're going to put it on for the 24th. And then we want my blurb, which I forgot to. This is a Fates book, isn't it? As you can see, I have so many. I should have pulled this file up before I started. I'm so sorry. Where did my blurb go? There. Thank you. Let's open this up. And we'll copy this out. Goodness knows what's going on there. Okay. And we'll pop that in there. And that's just the way I prefer to do my blurbs. I think I've discussed this with you before. I prefer to do 3 paragraphs. But in this particular book, I have 2 main characters. So I have 1 paragraph for one main character, 1 paragraph for the second main character, and then a 3rd paragraph just giving an idea of what's going on in the book. And then that's it. You really don't need a lot else. A lot of people don't even read the blurb. So I never worry about a short ebook description. It is not a collection. I don't now. This is something else that is really handy that Amazon does not have. And it's the split payments option. Now, it does not apply for this book, but I write, as I think I've explained to you before, I write books with JP Sale, amongst others. And what happens is she takes care of all the uploading and everything for our books. But when she uploads to Draft to Digital, she can do this. She can click this Add Paid Collaborator. And what happens is she can then set the royalties for this book, regardless of what platform it's on, through Draft to Digital, so that we get 50% each. It makes it a little less hazardous, well, a little less of a hassle at the end of the month when her and I have to work out who owes what for what. So that is a really good idea. If there's 2 or more authors, you can add that in there, and then Draft to Digital takes care of splitting up the royalties. And what happens is like it happened for me the other day, I received an email from Draft to Digital telling me that JP had added me in as a paid collaborator. I have to go in and sign that I agree to the terms, which is 50% each. And then that's what happens thereafter. So that's what that little option is there. And while I haven't used it, I am a part of it with JP, and it is a really good idea. Now, this wants an ISBN, and I use the free Draft to Digital ISBN. I don't see any point in worrying about anything else. This book also has an Amazon ISBN, but then I also have my own copyright. But each version, like if you bought an ISBN number for your book on Amazon, you are not allowed to use that same ISBN for your book on Draft to Digital. You have to have a separate version. So, which is why I prefer to just take their free ones. So we will hit save and continue. And then now this is where things get juicy. I have had people asking me about formatting. And as I say, you saw the file before I uploaded it. You saw what it looked like, just pretty standard. But you can go in here and it asks you, first of all, it gets you to check to make sure you've got all your chapters and everything. So yes, let's pick that up. And we go in to save and continue. And we're waiting for it to finalize it and sort its little self out. And then we come into the preview. Now, this is what it does to it. As you can see over here, it says D to D simple. So what we'll do is as you can see, they've basically stripped my font and everything else out of it completely. It's just a standard font. So if we put that there. Now, depending on, as you can see, there's things here. Well, I'm apparently not allowed to do these things, chapter decorations or things like that. But I can go into things like modern watercolor, which is really not appropriate for a mechanic's truck. I can put in corner decorations. I can do deco. Is that maraschino? Very pretty, but yes, I actually usually go with the minimal style. But you also have templates where you can use their mystery and thriller, or their classy mystery, Nevermore, or grime. That looks just like a smear on a dirty page. Then we have romance. So we have Midnight Oil, Subtle Hearts, and Sweet Bow. Or we can go to science fiction and fantasy, of course. What is that one? That's Digital Echo, fantasy, hardline, heraldic. Must be more fantasy. Regal and dragon. I'd love to leave that on there, but actually, I don't do dragon. Well, not in this book anyway. I do write dragons. But you see also, do you notice when I change the different template style, then it allows me to add things like a drop cap or a phrase cap. at the beginning of the sentences, and you can swap them around and change them as you like. What's it got in nonfiction? D to D block, which actually looks more like the original file I put up, or textbook style. And then we have poetry, and they have the same sorts of things as was seen before. So as you can see, you can actually add a lot of little bits and pieces into here just by clicking these different buttons. And the thing is this is free. You don't have to publish your book through Draft2Digital to do this formatting. And you can do this. Like as I say, I always go for minimal. I like that line, and it's a bit more squared off, and there's only one little indent, so it doesn't bother me. And then you can go down and you can download your book preview style with the style that you've chosen. You can download the EPUB, you can download a Mobi, although I don't think anybody uses Mobi anymore, and you can download a PDF. So you can download the versions of your file all for free and have it formatted to look according to whatever template it is that you've picked. And I think that is a real bonus for people who get worried or upset about the formatting of their books. But in the meantime, I don't need to download these because I create my files with Calibra. So I will just say that I have reviewed this manuscript and approve it for release for distribution to any sales channels I select on the next step. So we click save and continue. Excuse me a moment. I needed that cover. Now, you get different royalties for different marketplaces. Digital bookstores use an agency pricing model, which allows publishers to choose the actual retail price that customers pay for their books. This is the standard pricing model in self-published markets. Is that true or not? I don't know. But my book is $4.50. That is what I'm selling it for on Amazon. Now, there's another little note there. You are not allowed, like I can't put this book in as $3.99 on Draft2Digital when I have it at $4.50 on Amazon. The Amazon price must be the lowest price that you price it anywhere. That is in Amazon terms and conditions. So I have always put my Amazon price and my Draft2Digital price the same across all platforms. The royalty rates are different. And this is where you're allowed to pull out or, consider your books. So by clicking yes to the digital stores, which is what I do, they all pay me $2.68, which I think is about that is lower than I get from Amazon, because I think I get $3 something from Amazon. But anyway, this book is going to go to Barnes & Noble, to Kobo, Apple, Tolino, Viblio, Smashwords, Gardeners, and Fable. It is also, I allow it to go through their subscription service for Everand. I'm also always ticks a button for Kobo Plus. Now, the really awesome thing about Kobo Plus is, again, that it is a subscription service. But for authors, it means that they are not exclusive. And that is really important. Whereas if you put your books in KU on Amazon, you have to be exclusive to Amazon. You can't even do this business with Draft2Digital. But if you go on Kobo Plus, you can still publish your book wherever you like. They are not exclusive. And I think more and more readers are going to Kobo Plus. And then it tells you what territories they're in, where the book will sell. Then library services provide a catalog. Now, I never know what to put in for a library purchase. So I always put just $9.99. Because it's an ebook, I don't see the point in making it as expensive as the paperback copy that I sell through print on demand through Amazon. I just don't see the point. This is an ebook. So I just leave it at $9.99. I don't do a lot with like when I get my royalties, I don't notice a lot of money from any of this. And I don't really worry, but it's an option I can use. So I'm going to put my book out there. Face it, if you're going to go wide, you want to go as wide as possible. So that's why I do that with library services. And let's click submit. Now, you have a rights confirmation, and you can tick to say you're the original creator of this content, which I am. I don't need secure rights because I have the rights, and you just don't go selling public domain. That's really not worth it. And then you need to also confirm that I have all the rights necessary to make the content, cover image, and all the data provided by me available for marketing. Blah, blah, blah. Tick yes. Publish my book. And I did put it on pre-order. Yes, I did. Oh, I always worry about that. When I go to click submit and then I think to myself, did I miss something? But no, there we go. Ebook success. My book has now been successfully submitted and is currently being published to the retailers you have selected. Check your publishing progress at a glance from your view the book. Now, it does give you, like Amazon does, you could then start a print book project, or you could do audio book projects. I do my audio books totally different, so I don't need that, but we'll just go and have a look at the page, and there we go. This is my book. It tells me of my projected royalties. It shows all the things that, where this book is going to be published to. And you can also then download a digital file in EPUB, MOBI, or PDF in various formats if you're wanting one, which is really a really good idea. Now, I just need to copy that link there because my daughter will need it for promotion. So I'll just grab that there and click save. And then I will hop over here and go back to here. And there you go, my friends. That is how you put a book up on Draft2Digital. As always, if you have any questions about it, please put it in the comments below. I will admit that it's sometimes a little difficult doing these step-by-step ones because I've been doing it so long that sometimes I forget something that I've learned over 11 and a half years. But for other people, they might not have come across it before. So if there is anything there that you're a little concerned about, then definitely let me know or ask questions. I answer as best I can. And sometimes it means I make another video out of it if I think that's something that needs to be done. I do believe, in my personal opinion, because I have been doing this for so long, I prefer to publish wide. I prefer to have my books on Amazon, obviously, but I do not use KU, and that gives me the right to also sell my ebooks through Draft2Digital as well. Now, I am limited because I live in New Zealand. If you were living in the United States, for example, you could sign up to Kobo directly, or up to Apple or Barnes & Noble or anywhere else. You could have all those different accounts yourself and upload your books manually to them. But to be honest, for the difference in royalties, because you would probably make a bit more royalties that way, but doing it all through somewhere like Draft2Digital, I believe is a good idea. Now, this video isn't sponsored by them, but I just feel if I can put a book up once and then have it go to all these different platforms, then I personally think that that's a really good idea. But as I say, that's just my opinion. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. For those of you, if you're keen on seeing more content like this, then I post long form content on Mondays and Thursdays. And yeah, I answer every comment as best that I can. I have been doing this for quite a long time, at least in the book writing side of things. So whereas my YouTube, I did have a channel, like this channel was going for quite a while, and I was monetized and everything else. And then I took a year off because I was getting burnt out and I wanted to focus more on my writing. But I've been back now more than a few months, and slowly I think YouTube is starting to think, oh, that woman's back again. And maybe she's got something useful to say. So if you think I have, please help the algorithm for me and comment or hit like or whatever you like at all. Even if you didn't agree with what I had to say, post that in the comments too, because I really don't mind. Engagement is engagement. But for the rest of you, I hope you keep writing. This is truly such an easy business to do if you're prepared to put in the work. And to me, I believe I'm an example of why it's such a good idea. But in the meantime, please keep writing. And until the next video, I will see you then. Bye.